Imagine this. It's a summer night in 356 BCE in Pella, the capital of Macedonia. The air is thick with excitement and whispers spread through the palace like wildfire. A child has been born, not just any child, but one destined to change the course of history. This is the story of Alexander the Great's incredible beginnings. Born to King Philip II and Queen Olympias, Alexander was surrounded by the influences of power and ambition from the very start. His education was overseen by none other than Aristotle, who instilled in him a love for knowledge and a strategic mind. The atmosphere in Pella was a blend of political intrigue, military training, and rich cultural heritage, setting the stage for Alexander's future conquests. But let's rewind a little. Who were Philip and Olympias, and why do myths surround Alexander's birth? Let's dive in. According to legend, Olympias had a dream where her womb was struck by a thunderbolt, signifying divine intervention. The Oracle of Delphi prophesied that Alexander would be invincible and rule a vast empire. Philip II also consulted seers who foretold that his son would be a lion among men. On the night of Alexander's birth, it is said that the temple of Artemis burned down, a sign of his future greatness. These prophecies and myths created an aura of destiny around Alexander from the very beginning.
Philip was a warrior king, a brilliant strategist who turned Macedonia into a powerful state. His military innovations and diplomatic skills laid the foundation for Alexander's future conquests. Olympias, on the other hand, was passionate, spiritual, and believed in the divine. She claimed descent from Achilles himself and had a fascination with snakes often associated with the god Zeus. Olympias instilled in Alexander a sense of destiny and divine purpose. Together, Philip and Olympias shaped Alexander into a leader destined for greatness.
Here's where it gets wild. Legend has it that Olympias had a dream before Alexander was born. In the dream, a lightning bolt struck her womb, interpreted as Zeus, king of the gods, claiming Alexander as his own son. Philip too dreamed that he sealed his wife's womb with a lion-shaped seal. Prophecies, divine origins. Alexander's story was larger than life from the very start. Another prophecy foretold that Alexander would be invincible and destined to conquer the world. These divine dreams and prophecies set the stage for the birth of a legend. As a child, Alexander was anything but ordinary. He was tutored by none other than Aristotle, one of history's greatest philosophers. Imagine being 10 years old and having someone like Aristotle teach you politics, science, and ethics. No pressure, right? Alexander wasn't just a bookworm, though. He was fiery, competitive, and fearless. There's a famous story of him taming a wild horse, Bucephalus, a feat that even seasoned horse trainers couldn't pull off. His father, Philip, was so proud that he reportedly said, "My boy, you must find a kingdom big enough for your ambitions. Macedonia is too small for you." From a young age, Alexander showed a keen interest in learning, often immersing himself in scrolls and texts. Aristotle's teachings profoundly shaped Alexander's worldview, instilling in him a love for knowledge and a curiosity about the world. Can you imagine being so impressive as a kid that even your dad, the king, tells you to aim for the stars? Talk about high expectations. Alexander was born into a world of power and privilege, but also immense pressure. His father, King Philip II of Macedon, was a formidable ruler and warrior. From a young age, Alexander was groomed to be a leader. He was tutored by the great philosopher Aristotle, who instilled in him a love for knowledge and a thirst for conquest. The young prince was not just a student of books, but also of the battlefield. He learned the art of war, strategy, and leadership, skills that would later define his legacy. Alexander's ambition knew no bounds. He dreamed of surpassing his father's achievements and creating an empire that would stretch across the known world. This burning desire for greatness and his relentless drive would eventually lead him to become one of history's most legendary figures.
Alexander grew up surrounded by stories of heroes and gods. Olympias told him he was a descendant of Achilles, and Philip made sure he understood the legacy of the Macedonian kings. All of this, prophecies, myths, and parental influence, set the stage for a boy who would grow into one of the greatest leaders the world has ever known. The tales of gods and heroes were not just stories, they were lessons in bravery, strategy, and leadership. Alexander's education was steeped in the wisdom of philosophers and the valor of warriors. He was taught to see the world not just as it was, but as it could be. This blend of myth, education, and training forged a young mind ready to conquer and lead. Gap 3S. Before Alexander became the great conqueror we know today, his early life was filled with intriguing events and unique experiences that shaped his future. Here are some fascinating facts about young Alexander that you might not know. Gap 2S. Did you know that Alexander's first tutor was none other than the great philosopher Aristotle? From the age of 13, Alexander was taught by Aristotle himself, who instilled in him a love for literature, science, medicine, and philosophy. This education gave Alexander a well-rounded perspective, making him not just a warrior but also a thinker. Gap 2S. Another interesting fact is that Alexander tamed a wild horse named Bucephalus when he was just a boy. The horse was considered untamable, but Alexander noticed that Bucephalus was afraid of his own shadow. Turning the horse to face the sun, Alexander calmed him and gained his trust. Bucephalus would go on to become his loyal companion in many battles. Gap 2S. Alexander's childhood was also marked by his participation in athletic competitions. He was an adept runner and wrestler, which helped him develop the physical stamina and competitive spirit that would serve him well in his military campaigns. Gap 2S. Despite his royal upbringing, Alexander was known for his humility and camaraderie with his peers. He often trained alongside common soldiers, earning their respect and loyalty through his willingness to share in their hardships. Gap 2S. Lastly, Alexander was deeply influenced by the epic tales of Homer. He always kept a copy of the Iliad under his pillow, and he saw himself as a modern-day Achilles, destined for greatness. Gap 2S. These early experiences and influences were crucial in shaping Alexander into the legendary figure he would become. They provided him with the knowledge, skills, and mindset needed to embark on his incredible journey of conquest and leadership. Gap 3S. Now that we've explored these lesser-known aspects of Alexander's early life, we're ready to dive into the next chapter of his extraordinary story. Gap 3S. As we've seen, Alexander's early life was filled with fascinating events and unique experiences, but now let's dive deeper into his early achievements and ambitions. Gap 2S. Even as a young boy, Alexander displayed remarkable leadership qualities. At the age of 16, he was left in charge of Macedonia, while his father, King Philip II, waged war against Byzantium. During this time, Alexander successfully quelled a rebellion by the mighty tribe, showcasing his military prowess and strategic mind. He founded a city named Alexandropolis in their territory, marking one of his first significant achievements. Gap 2S. Alexander's ambitions were evident from a young age. He often spoke of surpassing the feats of his father and achieving greatness on a scale never seen before. He was known for his insatiable curiosity and desire to learn about the world beyond Macedonia's borders. Gap 2S. One of Alexander's early ambitions was to unify the Greek city-states under Macedonian rule. He believed that a united Greece could stand against the powerful Persian Empire. This vision of unity and strength would later become a driving force in his conquests. Gap 2S. Another notable achievement was his participation in the Battle of Chaeronea at the age of 18. Alexander played a crucial role in the Macedonian victory, leading a cavalry charge that broke the ranks of the sacred band of Thebes. This battle showcased his tactical brilliance and earned him recognition as a formidable military leader. Gap 2S. Alexander's ambitions extended beyond the battlefield. He envisioned creating a vast empire that would spread Greek culture and ideas across the known world. This vision of cultural integration and exchange would later define his approach to governance and conquest. Gap 2S. These early achievements and ambitions were not just a testament to Alexander's abilities, but also a reflection of his relentless drive to leave a lasting legacy. They set the stage for his future conquests and the creation of an empire that would change the course of history. Gap 3S. As we continue to explore the life of Alexander the Great, we see how these early accomplishments and ambitions laid the foundation for his extraordinary journey. Gap 3S. As we delve into the fascinating life of Alexander the Great, it's impossible to overlook the significant influences that shaped him. His parents and mentors played pivotal roles in molding the young prince into a future conqueror. Gap 2S. Firstly, let's talk about his father, King Philip II of Macedon. Philip was not only a brilliant military commander but also a shrewd politician. He revolutionized the Macedonian army, introducing the phalanx formation and other innovative tactics. These military advancements provided Alexander with a strong foundation in warfare, which he would later build upon to create his own legendary strategies. Gap 2S. But Philip's influence extended beyond the battlefield. He had a vision of a united Greece, a vision that Alexander inherited and sought to realize. Philip's ambition and determination were qualities that Alexander admired and emulated, setting the stage for his own grand aspirations. Gap 2S. On the other hand, Alexander's mother, Olympias, was a woman of immense influence and ambition. She was deeply religious and believed that Alexander was destined for greatness, often telling him that he was the son of Zeus. This belief in his divine lineage fueled Alexander's sense of destiny and purpose. Olympias also instilled in him a deep appreciation for Greek culture and mythology, elements that would later become integral to his identity as a ruler. Gap 2S. One of the most significant mentors in Alexander's life was the philosopher Aristotle. Under Aristotle's tutelage, Alexander was exposed to a wide range of subjects including philosophy, science, medicine, and literature. Aristotle's teachings not only broadened Alexander's intellectual horizons, but also instilled in him a love for learning and a curiosity about the world. This intellectual foundation was crucial for Alexander, as it helped him to govern his empire with wisdom and insight. Gap 2S. Another important figure was Leonidas, Alexander's strict and disciplined tutor. Leonidas was responsible for Alexander's physical training and instilled in him the values of endurance, resilience, and discipline. These qualities were essential for a future military leader and played a key role in Alexander's later successes on the battlefield. Gap 2S. Lastly, we cannot forget Lysimachus, who used role-playing and storytelling to teach Alexander about leadership and heroism. Through these engaging lessons, Alexander developed a deep admiration for legendary figures like Achilles, whom he sought to emulate in his own life. Gap 2S. These influences combined to create a unique and powerful individual, ready to take on the world. The teachings and values imparted by his parents and mentors laid the groundwork for Alexander's incredible achievements and his enduring legacy. Gap 3S. Now, as we continue our journey into the life of Alexander the Great, we can see how these early influences played a crucial role in shaping the man who would become one of history's greatest conquerors.
From the moment he took his first breath, Alexander's life was a perfect storm of destiny, ambition, and legend. But this is just the beginning of his story. Stay tuned, because next time we'll explore how this boy became a warrior and started his journey toward immortality. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more tales of history's greatest figures. See you next time. Join us as we delve deeper into the life of Alexander the Great, uncovering the events that shaped his destiny. Witness the rise of a legend in our next episode.